Hey guys, I am Dimebot, and this is Destiny 2. Now, you may be wondering why this video is coming out so long after the release of the game. Well, it's basically a MMO in all but name, and I wanted to make sure I saw most of the content before I said anything. So as you can see up here, I am a level 20, 257 power level, so I've seen pretty much all of what the game has to offer except for the raid. And I believe that you can make a pretty fair judgment on this game without playing the raid, although if that kind of high-level in-game content is for you, I will be trying to make some more content centered around that raid. Let's take a look at the options real quick. This hasn't changed since the beta. It's got a very nice set of options. It's very scalable. You can remap your keys. You can change all of your sensitivities here. You have game volume, chat volume. I would have wished for separate audio sliders here, but Bungie's just not going to do that. You have a bunch of gameplay options, including text chat, filters. You can turn your FPS display on or off. It's pretty good. You've got colorblind modes. So, yeah, not a bad menu at all. So let's just jump in and talk a little bit about the game now. You have these various planets you can go to. This is your social hub. Strikes, Crucible. Crucible is your PvP. Strikes is self-contained missions, and Nightfalls are various missions that have different difficulties, modifiers added to them. Let's jump into Earth here because there is actually a flashpoint going on here. Let's talk about what there is to do in Destiny. This is also your other social space right here. So you can see here on the map we've got a lot of icons. They're pretty easy. These are public events. These are places you can drop. And this is basically the mission giver and reward giver for this area. There are also these, which are adventures that I haven't done yet. These are little self-contained story quests out in the world. And then, of course, these icons right here are lost areas. These are little self-contained dungeons you can do. So we'll hop in real quick and talk about it now. If you don't know, at its core, Destiny is a first-person shooter with some RPG elements and loot drops and guns reminiscent of, say, Borderlands. So you, as a Guardian, are going to be getting around the solar system in your ship here. You can travel to the various planets, and this is also where they hide their loading screens. It's neat, though. You can customize your ship. You can customize pretty much everything in Destiny 2. Alright, so here we are, and we want to be headed over here. Now, each class has their own mobility options. Mine happens to be the ability to triple jump. Let's just grab this banner here so I have a full super. So, as a hunter, I can change my class up to Gunslinger, Arcstrider, or Night Stalker. We might actually want to do Night Stalker for this. You can reallocate your upgrade points pretty much at any time. Kills, recharge, dodge ability, deadly reach. Yep, this is the one that I want. You'll see that I have spare upgrade points available. Well, I can't really use them on anything, so Gunslinger gives you access to a golden gun, and then Night Stalker fires off a void arrow that will tether enemies and pull them in. And actually, you know what? I've gotten kind of used to Void Stalker. I may die horribly here. Let me remember what my skills do with this class. Arc Bolt Grenade. Actually, I'm using... This is actually going to be important. I'm using gear that is set up for a different class than what I'm currently using. Yep, that's good. And I'm taking fire. Excuse me? There we go. Wasn't quite expecting those guys to show up. There are roaming enemies that just wander around. So this is going to be the core of your experience in Destiny. The story is pretty good. There's nothing special to write home about, but it's not bad. The ending is a little disappointing. I'll share a snack with this guy real quick. The ending is a little disappointing. It's not terrible, but it's certainly not the best thing ever, and it's not what you're here for anyways. You're here for the guns and the loot. And scattered throughout the open world as you play are going to be these public events, and there are a few different types of them, and you can do certain things to trigger heroic versions of them, which are harder, but cause more enemies to come down and give you better loot. So it's a kind of a trade-off there. Can you actually handle the heroic event, or should you just settle for finishing the public one and taking the loot? Because there's various kinds of loots and currencies, and we'll talk about those in just a minute. I think things are about to get real here, and it's a good opportunity to talk about combat. And this looks like a high-value target right here, which these are enemies that will spawn out in the world, and we'll drop some pretty decent loot for you. Yep, you can see right there he dropped a chest for us, so we'll grab that. And now we have this coming in. So what we're going to have to do here is prevent the Cabal, which is one of the enemy factions in this game, from succeeding with this little mining operation and avoiding this fire from the overhead ship at the same time. At the same time, there's going to be another smaller ship that we're looking for, and we want to kill that ship, because that ship is going to allow us to trigger the heroic version of the event. Should be coming in any second now. This is basically just a wave defense mode. Now, surprisingly to some people, melee kills are a big deal in this game. I have on one of my classes several skills that focus around melee because it can recharge my health regeneration and all kinds of different effects. Right there, one of my abilities, if I dodge, it instantly reloads my weapon. Let's see if we can revive this guy. Got it. And I'm about to die horribly. So that has triggered the heroic version of the event that you'll see right there. We have to eliminate the excavation Valis, and I'm going to have to respawn. Now, you saw me pull out a grenade launcher there. That's my power weapon, and it has limited ammo. Very limited, but for situations like this, it can be very useful. And this guy right here is using the Arcstrider super ability. And I'm out of ammo. Alright, should be able to use my super in just a moment. That's going to tether him in place, and he's not going to be able to go anywhere. Each class has their own special abilities like this, and using them in a fight is kind of... knowing when to use them in a fight is key. And that completes that event. So, you're basically going to travel to the different worlds, and you're going to do these events, play PvP, and
I heard those explosions from here. What was
gain
that?
power. Let's return to orbit here and talk about that gameplay loop, because that sounds repetitive, but it actually is pretty fun.
I stand in awe.
So let's head to Nessus, because it's very interesting. And we will drop ourselves off right here so that we have a little bit of time before another event comes in and talk about loot, because as I said, that's the other core hook of the game, is the loot, and I just picked some up, so... Loading times aren't too bad. Like I said, they hide them behind these little screens. If you haven't installed on an SSD, they're pretty much negligible. Alright, here we are. Anything around me? No. Okay. So you have 3 different weapon slots. Your kinetic, your energy, your heavy, your ghost, and these can be... The ghost actually is your little companion. These can be used to help buff up things like, where is it? I have one that, yep, detects caches within a 30-meter range while in the EDZ, things like that. Then you have all of your different armor here. And I have picked up a new cape. Now you can change, you can add mods to this stuff, you can add shaders. And if it's high enough level, I could say infuse that item into my cape right here if I wanted to keep its effects and make it stronger by absorbing that other item. 258. Grenades recharge faster from using a void class. So right here, what I want to do is... Oh, I can't because it's not blue. What I would do if it was a purple is absorb this one. So you have a high degree of customization over this stuff, a very high degree. And there's something else that we can talk about once we get back to... the social area, but here we have this event incoming, and this should be a completely different type of event, where we fight the Vex, which is another type of enemy. Damn it.
Attention all crew members.
Oh, nope, we're doing Fallen. Okay, that works too. The enemy types in the game are pretty varied. If you played Destiny 1, you're going to recognize most of them, but since I did not, they're all new and fresh to me. They require different strategies to take down. Some of them have shields that you need to pop with a certain type of energy weapon that will create an explosion. Here they come. And we need to kill this extractor. A lot of the missions do boil down to kill the big bad, but what else are you really going to do with guns? There is some good platforming in some of the story, and it's well done. As well as just some platforming and getting around the world. Oh god, not this. Sometimes that thing will randomly drop you from super high up in the air. Need to kill his little buddy over here. Make sure that we take care of the ads. And a lot of very MMO-y things will need to be done in this game. Take care of the ads so that they don't overwhelm you. Make sure that you hit the damage phases with the maximum amount of your abilities. Things like that. And when it comes to strikes, which are basically little dungeons, it's really actually very important that you do that. And there I have a grenade that can make me vanish. Can also make my teammates vanish, but I kind of use that one for self-preservation, because I'm a dick like that. Alright, come here, you bastard. Ouch. You're gonna die in this game too, so don't worry about that. Teammates can revive you. And this is what I hate, when he drops you from 1,000 miles in the air. Fortunately, the game lets you jump, so... Oh shit.
Eat that, Fallen. Yeah. Servitors make sentient machines.
Alright, and we leveled up, basically. Even though we're level capped, you still earn
Always look good.
XP, and whenever you do, you get an Ingram. And that seems like a perfect time to head back to the Lost City. Or the Last City, rather. And we'll talk about acquisitional loot. The whole grind of this game is to up your power level, and you're looking to get to the cap of 300, which you can actually get to 305 by adding mods, but I'm not going to explain how technical infusion works in this video because it's complicated and aggravating. You may have noticed that the game is also stunning to look at, and it runs at a consistently high frame rate. For me, anywhere between 90 to 100 unless things get really, really crazy. And the game's extremely scalable, so you can run it on pretty much a toaster. Now, this is going to be our social hub. This is where you go to basically talk to all your vendors and get quests from the quest givers for the late game. And there are late game quests, and they're going to allow you to get some really nice gear. So over here we have the Lost and Found.
Welcome back.
And this is a token. Tokens are things that you give to various people in various zones. They are zone unique, and they will raise your reputation, which you see right here. I have 5 to turn into this guy. And I got myself an Ingram for it. I can also make gear mods or exchange gear mods once I hit the right power level here in order to further customize my weapons and armor.
Hello, Guardian.
And a big part of the game is decoding Ingrams. And I have one right here. It's a legendary. Legendaries are purple in this game. Yellow is actually exotic. Dead End Cure 2.1. Let's have a look at that. It's not as good as what I have, but I don't have a legendary shard, so I can't actually... Or no, I just can't infuse it.
Speak to me not of the darkness. I want no part.
Oh, I could infuse it into this one if I wanted to. I don't want to do that, so what we're going to do is actually dismantle some of this stuff.
We live in dangerous times, Guardian. I hope you have something for me that might help you make it safer.
And you see that that gives me a bunch of materials. You can actually recraft legendaries using legendary shards, or you can buy things from a special vendor over the weekend. This is actually a quest that will get me a better weapon.
Speak to me not of the darkness. I want no part.
You can only absorb weapons of the same type as well. What else do we have? I need to finish this one.
Is the right key.
So you can spend a lot of time customizing your character. Let's talk about this right here real quick. This is Eververse, and there's some controversy about Eververse because you can buy things here with real money. Let's go ahead and decode this. And a lot of things that people get upset about is these shaders that you use to customize your character appearance. They are one-time use only, and people get kind of up in arms about it. Legendaries. You can preview stuff. Ooh, I like that. What about watermelon? That's obnoxious for the purposes of this video. I'm buying it.
Eververse thanks you.
I have found that you don't really need to spend money. Shaders drop like crazy. It's not a huge deal. So I wouldn't really worry about that. If you really want to try for something, then yes, you can spend money. So there are a ton of vendors here that hand out gear, quests, all kinds of things. And there is another social space coming with the Curse of Osiris DLC. You see my vault. This is all the stuff that I've got that I'm just hanging on to. A couple exotics here. So let's head out and head to one other planet and I'll talk about some of my final thoughts for this game. That's very shiny. Let's head to Io because it's very different looking. And here's actually a quest.
I have some bad news. Dead Orbit is cutting back.
So what do I think about this game overall? It's a hell of a lot of fun. The shooting is tight. It plays very well. Now, it's going to be more fun if you have a clan, which I do. For some reason, our roster's not loading, but we do have a clan. And the reason for that is because the clan level is attached to seasons, and it gives you different perks. So it's a nice little thing to take part in. It gives you something else to play for, it gives you some extra objectives, and allows you to more readily have a team of people to play with. Now, that being said, the game does have a system where you can say what kind of activity you're looking for, and it'll match you up with a group. So you see, very different looking world than the other two we visited. All of the worlds are nice and diverse. They do feature the same basic types of enemies, but there are enough different factions, like these guys right here, that we haven't really seen yet. Who are awful. Ooh, a chest. Here we go. Open an area chest and found a legendary engram. Nice. Taken are a pain in the ass. There's also a kind of zombie race.
Serve my focus. Some transdimensional nonsense.
Where's this event? Pretty easy to track things. Taken blight. Oh yeah, I kind of forgot to mention these. I think everybody knew about sparrows, though.
These Taken are drinking something from the ground.
I don't care who's drinking what. Hurry up and deal with it.
That was terrible. That was absolutely terrible. So what we need to do here is actually get a blight status from this and then shoot this. It's the only way we can damage it. And what we want to do is try and damage it and trigger the heroic version of this event. Which is actually easier said than done because there's a horde of enemies around you the whole time. This is the kind of thing that's fun with a fire team, but like I said, also fun with other players as long as everybody knows how to trigger the event. So now it's going to move on us, and we have to go chase it. Sparrows are pretty easy to control. Just use the mouse. Much better than, say, Warthogs in Bungie's other big series. I'm about to die. I really can't afford to walk in there and grab the blight buff right now. Let's see if we can make it work. Out of ammo? Really? Yeah, as you can see, guys, this game gets pretty frenetic sometimes. I could have perhaps handled that engagement a little better, but...
It's opening.
Give me that blue. Defeat the Blightmaker. Great. So that's gotten the big bad to come out. Let's see if we can actually take this guy down. Ow. Wrecked. Oh, it's all level 20s. The game does scale, so everybody here is max level. That's not helping. This is what power weapons are for, though. You'll see that little orb around me. One of our teammates has given us a little floating turret. And there we go. Collect our loot and move on.
That's what you get for trying to rip open the fabric of reality.
That's the cycle of the game, guys. It's fun, it's grindy, and if you like it, you're absolutely going to love Destiny 2. If you don't, maybe not for you, but I find the game to be extremely fun. Oh, a Hydra. Alright guys, that's going to do it for me. If you enjoyed the video, hey, maybe like, subscribe, and maybe hit me up on Patreon. I will see you guys next time.